You know something, Haley? I'm really enjoying this game, but the problem is there's not a lot of new legendaries I can go out there and catch.
You're a fag.
I mean, you've got Xerneas, you've got Yveltal, you've got Zygarde. I haven't found Zygarde yet. And you've got the 3 legendary birds, Moltres, Zapdos, and Articuno that come back, and you can catch Mewtwo. But why is it that there's not a lot of new legendary Pokemon to catch?
I don't know. Why are you still talking?
You know, why don't you quit being such a little bitch, okay? I really enjoy this game.
Fine. I do expect to get fed later.
You know, come to think of it, I heard that there were 3 event legendary Pokemon that weren't even included in the game, but like a hacker came through and actually found them. So they are out there. But I wonder why they're being hidden from us.
I wonder why you haven't fed me yet.
You know what? I'm going to find out what these other legendary Pokemon are that aren't being shown in the game. So apparently, after doing much research earlier in November, I was able to actually come across that there are 3 event legendary Pokemon that are not in the game yet, but a hacker was able to go through the game and discover these Pokemon. So the 3 Pokemon in question, the first is called Diancie, it's a rock fairy type. The second is called Hoopa, it's a psychic ghost. And the last one is called Volcanion, which is a water and fire type Pokemon. Now, why these Pokemon weren't included in the final game is something that is kind of cheesed me off a little bit, and it made me kind of rethink the whole event legendary Pokemon idea, going as far back as even Pokemon Red and Blue, when like Mew would have, I guess, been considered an event Pokemon, but it was also something that was within catching. But I've had a really big issue with event Pokemon because a lot of these events, especially back in the early days, like in Gold and Silver, Ruby and Sapphire, the event legendary Pokemon were only available in a specific country if you go to a specific Pokemon show that came around in Japan, from what I remember. Thankfully now they're making it a little more exclusive, teaming up with stores like GameStop and EB Games to be able to go to the store with your DS and download it as a mystery gift sort of item for especially some Pokemon, like I think Shaman and Arceus may have been a start, and then of course you've got, I know there was event legendaries for Entei, Suicune, and Raikou in some of the newer games. You can get like shiny versions of them. I don't know if they've released Genesect yet. I honestly, I haven't taken the time to actually go out to the stores to get these legendaries because I don't want to have to make the effort. I preferred it when all the legendaries were, you know, catchable within the game. Why do I have to go to extra effort and pay more money just to get a specific Pokemon? I think that's complete bullshit, to be honest. I mean, you guys can think of it differently. If you guys are real Pokemon masters, you know, you can go out there and catch them all, but really you're not putting in the effort to catch them on your own accord. You're just getting it sent to you. I'm going to still continue to play the Pokemon games, but I'm not going to fall into the mix of having to go out and seek out these event Pokemon that, you know, I can just as easily, you know, get through a trade. Now, going back to these 3, are these 3 real? Well, they look legit, and you know, there's many sites that have kind of confirmed this. However, the main site that I refer to for Pokemon news, Cerebi, hasn't posted them under the official list of 6th gen Pokemon. So I guess they're waiting for the events to actually come forth. But this time around, Game Freak and Nintendo, they were very secretive when it was coming to releasing the official list of Pokemon. There would always be some sort of Koro magazine leak that would show all the Pokemon way before the games came out. But this time they had a worldwide release for Pokemon X and Y, so everyone found out at the same time. You know, the Japanese found out at the same time as the North Americans. So, in a way, you know, gamers would be welcome to a surprise. You know, they may be able to watch, you know, early people who got the game be able to play it a day or 2 before, in terms of like release, like review titles or something like that. But that's not really what this discussion's about. I'm sorry if I keep rambling on. This rant is more about Pokemon, event Pokemon in general. I believe it's a waste of money. I feel like it should be included in the game. I feel like, you know, event Pokemon are no different than any other legendary Pokemon. Just give us the opportunity to be able to catch them all. If you really want us to believe that we could be Pokemon masters, then why don't you just make them available in the game? Why don't you just create another subsection in your map where they can just sit and wait for us to actually get to them and catch them. They were in areas that we would have seen before. We might have traveled through them, but they didn't exist until after you beat the game. So to give us that incentive to be able to go back to those areas, and that's what I feel like they should be doing with event Pokemon. Even like throw them into an area that we've been before, that, you know, we kind of figured, okay, maybe later after we beat the game, a Pokemon's going to show up and land here. I would very much like to do that. In fact, for these three especially, like, they're supposed to be advertised as a trio, so I guess an event legendary trio. Instead of having them event Pokemon, I don't want to wait till they come around in a GameStop. I'd throw them in the game in various locations. Even have them be roaming Pokemon. I don't give a fuck. So this has been my rant about the event legendaries. I think they're a waste of time. But anyways, you know, if you want to tune into more content on Stardust Drive Podcast, you can always visit our site, which is gta-gamers.org. And, you know, we're on Twitter, Stardust_Drive, Facebook, Stardust Drive Podcast. If you want to follow me personally, my Twitter handle is Will Key. Thanks for tuning in. Subscribe, like if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys around.